Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Nourish You Podcast. Today I have a solo episode because this is a topic. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to share this topic with you. It is January. There's a lot of New Year's resolutions. There's a lot of healthy eating going on. There's a lot of gym memberships that are actively being pursued. And this is the time of year where we may be, really on track, really motivated, really focused, and then we hit a plateau. So for today's episode, I want to share with you three different areas that I really encourage you to hone in on, tune into, and refine for yourself that may be causing your weight loss plateaus. So these three areas are typically the areas that are preventing you from losing weight, achieving your goals, and also likely keeping you craving a lot of different food. So just to give you a heads up for what we're going to be exploring for today's episode, I'm going to be talking about making sure that you're getting adequate calories for your body and why that's so important to making sure that you're getting or hitting your weight loss goals. We're also going to be talking about how to make the right changes. So I hear this one a lot. Women will say, Jana, I just don't know what my next best step is. And there's things that you can think about to really have clarity on what that step looks like for you. And then third, probably one of my favorite topics to talk about and really support women on is talking about the cravings, all the cravings, whether you're craving cheese or chocolate or peanut butter. We're going to dive into why your cravings are preventing you from achieving the weight loss that you desire. So let's dive in. I wanted to start with making sure that you have adequate calories. So this is one of the number one things that I see with supporting women in their weight loss journey or their health journey as a whole. So not all women want to lose weight. Not all women need to lose weight, but we really focus in my coaching program, we focus on the whole person approach. And one of those things may be making sure that you are nourishing your body with adequate fuel so that your body can do everything that you're wanting it to do. And first and foremost, if we want our body to do what we want it to do, I'm just gonna highlight weight loss because that's a big one right now, particularly in January. We want to lose weight, we want to maintain a healthy weight, so we're going to focus on that one today. If you're wanting to lose weight, we actually need to make sure that you are eating enough calories. So in the headlines or in different programs, they may be telling you to eat, like I have heard so often, 800 to 1200 calories a day. If you are eating 800 to 1200 calories a day, I want you to stop everything that you're doing right now, and I want you to go eat some food. Okay. I'm joking, but I'm also dead serious. So like if you have been following a diet plan that tells you to eat 800 or 1200 calories a day, and you've been doing that for a couple weeks, go eat some food. Like right now, go do that. So here's why. 800 to 1200 calories, let's just round, say 1000 calories on average per day is enough calories for a 2-year-old. So the women that I work with, and likely you that are tuning in, are older than 2 years old. Your body requires so many more nutrients and calories to do every miraculous thing that your body does every single day. Your body needs nourishment and it needs calories to be able to support a healthy metabolism, to be able to balance hormones, to be able to lose weight. So let me give you some information of why this is. First and foremost, it connects with our metabolic rate. So in order to really support a healthy metabolism, to keep our metabolism happy and healthy and our hormones balanced and maintaining that healthy weight that you're looking to achieve, we actually have to fuel the body. So it'd be like expecting your car to take you 500 miles and you only fuel it for 100 of those miles. Well, what has to happen for the other 400 miles? Where do you go? How do you get there? The body acts as the same thing. If you are always functioning in a deficit, it's not going to be able to get to your end destination. We need to make sure that we are giving your body enough fuel, enough energy to get to the end point. So this is because of our metabolic rate. There are 3 different components that really encompass our metabolic rate. First one is the basal metabolic rate, or you may hear it as BMR. It usually accounts for about 50 to 80% of our total energy needs. And this is really based off of largely our lean body mass. So the lean body mass is essentially the muscle that your body has on it. Now, this includes not only the muscle that you think of typically that you would have in the gym, but this also includes muscles such as the muscle that's in the heart. So yes, your heart is a muscle. And yes, that's part of your lean body mass that contributes to the amount of calories that your body needs every single day. Second, we go into the thermal effect of food. Now, this is probably my favorite topic. When I was sitting in biochemistry, learning about all these different aspects, I was like, tell me more about this thermal effect of food. I want to know more. So what the thermal effect of food does in our body is essentially our body burns calories as we're consuming calories. So it takes calories to break down all the food and fluid that we consume to be able to engage in our metabolic processes, to be able to transport different proteins and other molecules from different cells. So there's all these inner workings in our body that are happening that require energy in order to break down the food that we consume. And so from that, our thermal effect of food, we get about 5 to 10% of our overall energy needs. And then last is the one that you've probably heard of a lot, is our overall activity factor. So the activity factor is the third component that really makes up our metabolic rate. And it's also the one that can vary the most, just depending on your overall activity level or your movement patterns. So when we're looking at this is why one of the reasons it's recommended that if you want to lose weight, increase your activity factors, because it's connected to our metabolic rate and because it's connected to how many calories we ultimately burn for the day. Now, I always like to point out that this not only includes, say, a gym session, but this also includes other life factors, such as doing the dishes, doing the laundry, vacuuming, gardening. All of these other things contribute to that activity factor and contribute up to that 20% mark. So that's another reason why it's recommended, or why I say and tell my coaching clients, we just want to move our body. Movement is really key. Whether you're going to the gym, fantastic. Let's definitely either increase that or keep that up. And also, what other ways are you moving your body throughout the day that can contribute to your metabolic factor? Because this ultimately helps us with being able to burn more calories. This is also really beneficial if we don't want to restrict our calories too much. Say if we have a performance goal, we certainly want to make sure that we're getting in not only enough calories, but also a lot of micronutrients and different minerals to support that performance. This activity factor can come in and really help balance out the equation so that we don't have to restrict so much if, again, our goal is weight loss. So this is why it's really important that we consume enough calories, is because we're really supporting that metabolic factor. Now, what I typically witness, and also what I work with on my coaching clients, is many of the women that come to work with me, they are coming from a long history of diets, trying various things, whether it be Weight Watchers, Optavia, Jenny Craig, a Nutrisystem, the keto diet, you name it. They've tried many different diet approaches, and they likely were able to lose weight, maintain that weight loss for a short amount of time, and then found themselves gaining the weight back plus more. And what they share with me is that, one, they're really confused in how to eat for their body, or what's good food or what's bad food. And also they find themselves at their highest weight ever. And so there's just a lot of frustration in that process. And because we've been trained and conditioned to really go to diet approaches, we think that we need to go back to another diet in order to fix it. And while that certainly makes sense from an overall conditioning perspective and how we've been taught about nutrition, but it does not do us any good when we're really looking to get lasting results. And this is because we on those diets, it's recommended that you cut your calories way too much. So I'll share this story with you. I was on a coaching call, and an individual had really just reached out. She's like, I've started making changes in my diet. I've lost some weight, but now I find myself at a plateau. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've been counting all the calories. My fitness pal tells me how many calories to eat. I've been following that, but now I find myself so hungry and I just don't know what to do. And so we take a deep breath and say, oh, okay, we're here. We find ourselves here. And then two, we really dive into, where are you? And what we found is that the MyFitnessPal recommended that she consume 1,000 calories a day to get to her results, and she was starving. So when I went through and we talked through what that looked like, how it was impacting her, and actually we reassessed her calorie needs, what we found out is that for her to maintain her weight as is, she needs 2,600 calories a day. But to engage in weight loss, she needed anywhere between 1,600 and 2,000 calories a day. Now, I'm going to tell you why I told her to go with 2,000 calories a day initially. I'm going to get into a little bit of this. But from that deep dive into her nutrition plan, we found that she could double her calories and still get the results that she was looking for. So the reason why I had her start higher is because we always want to start higher if our goal is weight loss. Because as you lose weight, you have less body mass, and as you have less body mass, you need less calories. So as you're losing weight, you need to decrease your calories or increase your overall activity factor. And eventually, if you've cut your calories too low, you have nowhere to go. Nowhere. So I'm going to give this example. In her situation, she was at 1,000 calories per day and she couldn't restrict any more. This is what was part of this was part of why she was plateauing. There was nowhere to go. She had restricted too far, too quickly, and ended up at that point that actually wasn't where she wanted to be weight-wise. So we really had to re-engineer and recreate a completely different plan for her, which one got her over 1,000 calories more, double the food. It cut the cravings. She still had the weight loss results she was looking for, and it was a much more pleasant experience, to say the least. So when you're looking at doing this for yourself, first and foremost, make sure that you are calculating your adequate calorie needs. There are a lot of different resources that are out there. Certainly a dietitian myself can calculate them for you. And then from there, you want to reduce it by usually 250 to 500 calories. That's it. So the reason why I say that is because it's going to put you in a calorie. Well, one, let me take a further step back. Let me get into this a little bit deeper. So one, the reason why I say 250 to 500 calories is because then you still get to eat. And two, likely if you are making changes in your dietary intake at this time, it's still going to be different than the baseline that you started with. So I am a huge practitioner on establishing baselines. I want to know where someone's starting, because if I don't know where they're starting, we don't have clarity into the next best step. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more as we talk about what that looks like of how to make the right changes for yourself. But if we don't know where your starting point is and we don't have that foundation, then everything else is off. So I say this because as you are starting to track by default, you are changing how you eat. So I have not run across, and if you do this, let me know. I want to talk with you. So send me a message. But the people or the individuals that I have come across that have started tracking that were not tracking before already are making changes in their diet. So as you are tracking, you're already making shifts or adjustments, or you're not wanting to track that food so you don't eat it, or how someone's explained it to me. She was like, I knew I was going to be tracking this, so I didn't eat fast food, but I normally would eat fast food. So, right, like we want to know what that baseline is. And if you are starting to track and you never tracked before, you likely have changes. So by default, those changes are already making calorie changes in the deficit. And then we add in those additional 200 to 500 calories less. So by the time that you're done with it, from where you first started, you could be upwards of 750 calories less per day, which is a huge change, right? Like, so that is a big difference. That's 1.5 or 1 full meal difference in your day. That's a big, big change. So that's why I recommend not doing any more than 250 to 500 calories. Otherwise, we get into too many changes too quickly, and we end up really messing up the end results that you're going for. We already put you on a track of plateauing quickly, and that's not the goal. So make sure that when you are restricting, one, you know what your calories are, and you are reducing those by 250 to 500 calories. If you're going to go the 250 route, which I actually really recommend, again, right? Like we want to start a high on your calories so we have space to go as you continue to lose weight. But I also recommend 250 less calories in food, because when we're dealing with your health success plan, your nutrition success plan, exercise or movement is part of it. So the whole thing of like 80% diet, 20% gym, or bull, I don't know. I don't think anyone actually knows what that real percentage is, but I don't know a single individual that is living a healthy lifestyle that doesn't include movement. So when I'm working with my clients, we're looking at, again, that whole person approach, and it's definitely going to include movement. It is so good for the body. So as you're changing your diet, you're also going to have some movement goals, because we want to keep the body active, not only for that weight loss, but for longevity, for mental clarity, for stress reduction, all these other things. So you're decreasing your calories, and you're increasing your calorie output from more movement. So now maybe you reduce 250 calories from your diet, but you also increase your calorie input by 200, 250, your calorie output by 200, 250, because you're moving more. So now we find ourselves in an even more bigger, like a bigger deficit than before, right? Like, so this is where everything compounds on itself. And this is so cool to see when someone is implementing this, is they have the nutrition factor, they have the movement factor, they have stress, they have sleep. I mean, everything just becomes in alignment, and the body just starts to shed weight. It's so, so cool to see. So think about that for yourself. What does that look like? Where is your starting ground? Making sure you're getting enough calories so that you have that ability to lose the weight and prevent some of those plateaus, and also still making sure that you're moving your body. So I'm going to give this context too. In making sure that you have adequate calories, is the average woman in the US needs at least 2,000 calories per day. Now, every single individual is different. This is why it's called a personalized approach to nutrition, and why every single person needs to have their calories calculated, because everyone is different. But we look at ranges, we look at averages as it relates to nutrition, so that we can apply this across the population from a public health perspective. And on average, women need about 2,000 calories. So think about that for yourself. Think about what your body needs. If you have been restricting, like I said, I hope that you've been eating some food as you're listening to me. Or I'll give you another sign. If you've been restricting to 800 calories a day, 1,200 calories a day, here's another sign. Go get something nourishing for your body. It will thank you. Okay. So that is step number one. When we're looking at things that may be preventing you from losing the weight that you're looking for, or that's keeping you feeling stuck, or whatever other things that you feel like aren't progressing you for the results that you're looking for. Go back, as it relates to nutrition, go back to making sure that you have adequate calorie intake and that you are giving your body the fuel that it needs to do what you are asking it to do. All right. Questions on that? Send me a DM. I'd love to be able to talk with you about it. Now, number two, when we are looking at this, then let's get into number two, how to make the right change for you. So this is a powerful question. This is a question that is different for every single person. But here are some guidelines to be able to think about it for yourself and to see how you can apply it to your lifestyle. So when we're looking at how to make the right changes, first and foremost, we want to really focus in on baby steps. So oftentimes, one of the things that prevents us from achieving the goals that we have is that we actually take too big of step forward. And so what happens is we take this like huge, long leap, jump, and land. We can maintain it for like 2 weeks and it's like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. Or mayday, get me out of this. I can't keep this up. Or life happens and you're like, dang it, I had this plan, but now I can't keep it. So now it shifts and now I feel like a failure. So screw it all. Have you felt that way? If so, you're in good company. This is the human brain that is at work. And we like to think that we can take bigger steps than what we really can. The reality is that in order to, we first had to be held, then we were held to be able to crawl, then we crawled to be able to walk, then we walked to be able to run, right? Like these are all steps that we have to take in order to get to our end result. And when we take too big of steps, it really, what it does is it freaks out our brain. And the brain is like, hey, you've never asked me to do this before. This is not part of our normal routine. I don't like this. I'm totally outside of my comfort zone. Get me back to normal. And the normal is whatever your routine has been for so long. And so when we take those too big of steps, we're not able to maintain it. We freak out our system and then we stop. So what I like to coach on and what I encourage you to look at is if there is a goal that you have been wanting to achieve and you haven't moved forward with it, maybe the entire goal needs to be reassessed. Maybe there needs to be smaller steps in that. I always like to share this even outside of the health space. So financial health is definitely part of your health equation. But think about it this way. You can't save $100 until you put $1 in the bank, until you put $10 in the bank, until you put $20 in the bank. And then eventually you get to $100 if you didn't already have that $100, right? We're assuming that you don't have a $100 bill in your back pocket. But you can't get to that point until you put in those other dollar amounts. The same thing is true for your health goals. As you guys know, I shared on my podcast, I ran 2 full marathons last year. I had never done a full marathon before. I thought that people that ran full marathons were crazy, and they probably are. I definitely was, especially during it, because the body is just going through so many different things. But it was such a lesson in making the right next step and taking that next baby step, because you can't, so it's 26.2 miles. Yes, 26.2. Before that, I had run quite a few half marathons, 13.1, and so double what I had ever done before. There is no way that I could have gone from running 13.1 or half miles to the next day running a full marathon, which without like completely dying, and my body never wanting to do that ever again. But if we break that down, I could do another half mile. And after that half mile, I could do another half mile and then maybe one more mile. And then over the course of a couple months, I ran two full marathons. That happened because of each step forward. So we look at this, let's take it from a nutrition perspective. So we have recommendations to consume fruits and vegetables that frankly I think are outrageous. We still need to consume our fruits and vegetables. Don't misquote me. We still need to eat fruits and vegetables. But the majority of Americans do not meet the recommendation. And when we go to look at that, most Americans get 1 to 2 servings. The gap is too large. It's too big. So what we like to do is say, okay, so maybe you have 1 to 2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. That is where you are right now. Now, in order to move you forward to your long-term goal, what is that next best step? That next best step could be adding in 1 additional serving of fruits and vegetables, or it could be 1 additional serving of fruit, or it could be 1 additional serving of vegetables. We want to take that next baby step forward because that puts us in progression. So here's why progression is so important, is because the human experience, the human body likes to know that it's progressing. If we don't feel like we're progressing, if we don't feel like anything's really happening, one, we typically look for drama and like spice up our life, and or we stop. It's just not fun. So we just quit. So this is why it's so important to have progression. So these baby steps allow us to have clarity and focus and prevent us from being overwhelmed. So think about it. If you are thinking about, I hear this one a lot, especially with work from home and just different, lifestyle requirements, is it's really difficult to get in the recommended physical activity for the week. So that recommendation is 150 to 300 minutes per week. We see baseline recommendations for health at 150 minutes. And if you want to achieve weight loss, that's up to 300 minutes. So if we break that down, 5 days a week, 60 minutes. However, if you have not been working out for, say, the last couple of months and your activity level is at 0, saying go work out for an hour, 5 days a week, that is a big freaking jump. It's too big. You could certainly go for it. And I encourage everyone to get more active. And also, you likely may not be able to keep that pace up because there was very little progression from 0 to 100 overnight. Now, if we take that back and say, if we are at 0, what is the next best step so you're not overwhelmed? That's the number one thing. We want to prevent you from becoming overwhelmed with your goals, because again, that's when we stop. It's too much. It's beyond your capacity. So we throw up our hands and we just stop. So we want to prevent that from happening. So in order to provide that clarity and that focus and to prevent the overwhelm, we want to say, can you do 5 minutes? How does 5 minutes feel for your brain? Does 5 minutes feel like that's achievable? 9 times out of 10, I hear, yes, I can do 5 minutes. 5 minutes is easy. All right, do it. Now that's the real thing. You say 5 minutes is easy, but do you do it or do you dismiss it? So often, oh my gosh, so often in these health journeys, we dismiss these things that we don't think even matter, and then we don't even get to the results that do matter to us. Don't dismiss the baby steps. Let me say that again. Do not dismiss the baby steps. They are needed for the results that you are looking to achieve. So give me 5 minutes. Better than 0. And I don't know any sports team out there, if they win by 5 points, they win. They're happy. 5 beats 0 every single day. Take the win. Take the health win. Go with it. So do 5 minutes. And then if you're like, oh, I can do more, be the overachiever. This is what I like to share is I want to set you up to be the overachiever. I don't want to set you up to be the failure. I'm going to air quote that. I want to set you up to be the overachiever. So you say 5 minutes is super easy, do 5 minutes. If you're moving your body for 5 minutes and you're like, hey, I could give 6 minutes. Oh no, I can go 7. Oh no, you know what? 10 minutes feels good. Then you have just become the overachiever. The goal was 5 minutes. You just did 10. The reason why this is so powerful, and I really encourage you to sit with this and think about how you can set yourself up to be an overachiever versus a failure, is this helps build confidence. Now think about it. So let's take that goal. Let's say you do want to get more active and you're like, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a 30-minute workout, but you haven't been active for months. That one likely feels daunting. And two, you likely are doing the other component of this is putting it off or procrastinating. It's too big for your mind. So your mind keeps pushing it off. 30 minutes, I can't do 30 minutes, or I have to drive to the gym, or well, actually back up. I have to make sure that everything's packed. I have to make sure that I have gym clothes. I have my water bottle. I have to go to the gym. I have to drive to the gym. I hope I don't run into anyone at the gym. Do they have, is there going to be a treadmill open? Oh, I wonder if people are going to be looking at me and judging me. And all these things start swirling in your mind and you start procrastinating and you put it off and you don't do it. Versus if we can, so then in your mind, right? Like 1, you procrastinated. 2, you didn't do it. There was no action. There was no proof. And 3, you now now in your head, you're a failure because you didn't do it. So that doesn't help us stay motivated. There is nothing about that that's motivating for most people. Versus if we say, okay, let's do 5 minutes, go out for a walk outside, which by the way, all my coaching clients know that I'm a huge fan of getting outside. There's a lot of other reasons to that I share with them. There are just so many benefits of walking outside or getting outside in general. So you got 5 minutes, do some jumping jacks, do some air squats, do some push-ups, loop around your house. If you live in a 2-story house, take the stairs a little bit. Whatever you can do for 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. Brain says, it's just 5 minutes. I can do 5 minutes. Okay, I'll do 5 minutes. You find yourself 5 minutes. Again, maybe you're assessing, maybe that for the day it is 5 minutes and you're done. Or maybe you're like, oh, I'm already doing it. I might as well just keep going. And you do it and you finish it and you say, I did that. I did 5 minutes. Or if you're that overachiever, you did 10 minutes. I did that. That builds confidence and it puts you in action. Action produces motivation. Action produces confidence. Action produces results. 5 minutes wins the day. Health win for the day. Done. Good to go. So think about that. How can you implement these small, again, I'm air quoting, these small baby steps into your day more frequently and get win after win after win after win? I want you to stack up the wins. I want you to stack up the health wins. I want you to be confident. I want you to stop procrastinating. I want you to feel really good because you now have action behind your words. This gets into something all together of how we can align, how your actions align with your words. And now you start to have integrity with yourself. You are unstoppable when you have confidence and integrity with yourself. Hands down, you'll get the results that you want. No problem. Not even a thing. I'll bet on you every single day. Someone with integrity, Their words align with their actions and confidence, done. That's the winning equation. That is what we're looking for. I can go on for this forever. Essentially, look at how these baby steps are, or how maybe if you're not getting the results that you are looking for, if you find yourself stuck, if you have not been able to lose the weight, think about maybe the goals that you've been setting for yourself are too big. Now, this is not to stop you from pursuing big goals. This is actually to keep you moving towards your goals at a faster pace more frequently, consistently showing up to them. So look at that. Look at ways that maybe we can tweak it. Maybe we can refine it to make it those small baby steps that are going to keep you moving forward. And then apparently I'm long-winded today because we are getting in. I like to keep these solo ones about 30 minutes and we're getting into that. I wanted to talk a little bit about cravings. So I'm going to go into this, just give you one thing, and then I encourage you, I am going to be actually hosting a free masterclass on cut the cravings for good, and I want you to join in. So if you find that in your journey of losing weight or feeling like you're stuck at a certain weight or those weight loss plateaus, one of the things that's really preventing you from continuing on the journey is getting all these different cravings. So I hear this so often of, I have these cravings for cheese around mid-cycle. I have chocolate. I need chocolate like every single day. Hey, that was totally me. Chocolate is totally my thing. Or peanut butter or chips or soda. Whatever the craving is for you, that's likely one of the things that's preventing you from getting the weight loss results that you're looking for or the health results that you're looking for. And so we definitely want to dive into those and make sure that, one, you're having healthy cravings. So there's difference between physical and emotional cravings. And it's 100% normal with our hunger to have certain cravings. It's not normal to have cravings all the time or feel like you have to use your motivation or willpower to never eat that food again or push that food away or not have it in the house. So if you're someone that is really wanting to dive into managing your cravings in a healthy way, I encourage you, I'm going to put the link in the show notes for this podcast for a completely free masterclass that I'm hosting. It's called Cut the Cravings. And I'm hosting it on Wednesday, the 25th. So if you're listening to this today, so this came out on January 24th. So tomorrow I'm hosting the live masterclass. It will be recorded. So if you're not able to join on live, still register and still join us because we'll send it over to you. So you have that information of how to cut these cravings. One of the things I share in this masterclass cuts cravings by over 60%. So there are so many things that you can do to be able to still enjoy the food that you want to, and also not feel like you're addicted to food or that it is preventing you from getting the results that you are looking to achieve. So join in. Again, the link is going to be in the show notes. It's going to be Wednesday, January 25th at 6 p.m. It will be recorded. So if you're not able to join live, still join us. We will still send you the recording so that you have that. And then feel free to ask me any questions. All right. I hope this was really helpful. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your questions. Let me know how I can help. And tune in for next month. We have so many great different episodes coming in. We're really going to be focusing in and on women's health, metabolism, balancing hormones, and getting to that weight loss goal without the diets. So talk to you soon.